Hey everybody, and welcome to Kev's Vibe of the Day. This is where I frame up a focus for the day to give hope and to lift the hearts and the minds and open up our mental doorway to another way of thinking, another way of being, and use cards such as these to bring a focus. So let's get right to it. Today I'm using these wonderful Angel and Ancestor cards from Kyle Gray. This deck is relatively new to me. It intimidates me because it seems complicated, but then it also seems enticing. I'm drawn in by the images. I'm drawn in by the wisdom of it. I'm drawn in by the folkiness of it because there are the guides of the four corners, and then there are the elements such as the snake. There are all those beings, those wonderful wildness about it, and then of course we've got the seasons. So I'm thinking about diving in and doing a one card to see who shows up, what shows up, and see what focus I get from it. So bear with me. Here we go. All right, so it's a little bit of a different setup in this one. The prayer is slightly different. Guardians of the four corners, Mother in the sky, Mother in the earth, Father in the sky, angels, ancestors, and sacred ones, I call on you and welcome you here now. I set the intention that whatever is gained from the lessons learned from this tool and these cards for today, the 11th of July, 2021, will be dedicated to growth of all beings in all places, in all ways. Thank you, angels, for revealing to me what these cards will show. I'm willing to listen and to receive and to learn and to share and to give. So it is, and so shall it be. So this one flipped over. This is a Druid. I wouldn't call it a jumper. I would just say it flipped over. So in that case, I'm just going to roll with it and go with what comes up as far as the Druids or the Druid energy. Druids that we know of have been around for eons. They are the ones that hold the space and keep us tethered to our truth of what the purpose of our life really is. They also can open up areas of mystery. They are connected to the earth, part of the earth, and this one I think is one of the first cards to pop out in this deck. Obviously you have Mother Earth, but before Mother Earth, the very first one is the Druid card. The Druids come when we need to hold things together and tells us not to make any sudden rash moves. This Druid card is reminding you and me and the planet that we're where we're supposed to be at all times. There is no mystery. There is no wonderment. They're part of the ancient ones, typically connected to England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, those Celtic British Isles. And scholars claim they were created with the Ogham tree language, known for their creative skills and their storytelling, a bit like folklores, a bit like the wise people. We've in our modern history, we get to see Druids more in movies. I'm trying to think which movie would come. Whatever that. Oh gosh, it escapes me now. Bobo Baggins. That whole wonderful trilogy of movies, films that sort of talk about the Druids being part of Earth, part of the wild or wise existence on the planet. So when this card pops up as it did, we're all being guided to go within and hold our space, that sacred light, that sacred space within inside of us. Especially if you're wondering what to do next with your life or experiencing some worry and anxiety, which I have this week. It's time to shift the perception, those thoughts, those uneasy feelings, and move into a state of trusting it, trusting what's happening. Don't change your plans or change your focus on what you're focusing on and wanting to move towards. Instead, lean in, sit in, and relax in that gooey, ooey place of trusting, the inner knowledge, the part that it's okay. If nothing's happening at the moment, doesn't mean it won't. Trust the process in letting things occur in their own natural ebb and flow the way they're supposed to. Let things happen on their own before pushing and shoving and making more steps. Think of how a tree has those roots way down deep in the earth and it sways from side to side when there's a storm coming. Continues growing, continues digging deeper. So our lives are kind of a reflection of how we are rooted by our intentions, rooted by our thoughts, and knowing that, you know what, I'm just going to do it. So this leads me to land this particular card. For me, I am pretty good at manifesting anything and everything I want to. I learned that early on in life, and the more I exercised creative visualization, that inner knowing, that inner belief, trusting in a power greater than myself, which has been reactivated more recently. I think during my 30s, when I moved up here from Florida, and the early part of my 40s, I sort of went on the wayside. Well, I dabbled a little bit. And one of the things that have, or has, I can't say plagued my life, but has been a big piece of this process for me, and I'm sharing it because I think it might land with some folks, is this need and this feeling that if I don't do it, if I don't get it, nobody will. Or if it isn't done my way, it won't be done the right way. That's all ego. It's really a naughty side of ourselves, mostly when we outwardly project love and compassion, caring for others, which we do. I think that's at the core, and it's hardwired. If you're here and you're listening to this and you're following along, and you're part of the message of we have to join, link arms, and hold our shoulders together so that everyone's lifted, but also not forget that we're not ahead of, above anyone else. That we can use the experience we've had ourselves to lift and put other people forward. So when I've learned those sort of lessons, which have been tough, and I'm sure you've learned the lessons of where you've got a knockback, a smackdown, oh no you don't, where you feel like, you know what, you came from not such a great place. And even if the lesson that you learned, or the way that you got to understanding the lesson, was that you felt bad about what you did, that's lesson enough. The personal admonishment of you made a sidestep, a wrong step, you made a mess in your nest, is enough. It's enough to realize, whoa, okay, I've got to go on. The big important thing is to remember it and not to repeat it. The ego then, which is that side of ourselves, is this, some folks, I believe, call it the shadow work. I asked somebody recently in our study group, what exactly is shadow work? I'm not a big fan of these overly complicated terms that people use, and they talk about how they've done this and that and the other thing, and they have these flowery descriptions for what that is. I'm not a big fan of that. And I think that because I've learned the hard way of being in that flowery chitter-chatter land and knowing it really doesn't come from a good place. It comes from a place of where you want to lift and make yourself out to be more than you are. That's an insecurity. That's the ego running amok. That's the ego saying, I'm not really sure what I'm doing on the inside. That's the truth. The vulnerability of being exposed. So I have to create this sort of persona thing, this flowery context is these words, to make myself look like I know what I'm talking about. No, really, here's the thing. Just like animals, dogs, cats, fear it, smell fear, they smell it. They know that you are right in the target and you are easy pickings to pull that out. And there are folks who have learned it because we've been there. We've been in that hot seat, squirming, not sure, babbling at the mouth, foaming at the mouth, just talking incessantly without any real meaning, only to be caught out. Tell me the truth, because what I'm hearing, seeing is a load of lies. I learned that when I went through the teacher training at level 2, I think, level 1, level 2. You know, to say I was a certified such whatever teacher, yoga teacher, Spirit led me to that journey to open up a different side of myself, to get to the nitty-gritty of the truth of what you've been saying, what you've been doing, how you've been behaving is nonsense. The truth is you have to continue being straightforward, upfront, honest. And then I landed at the point in my life where I felt like everybody deserves honesty. I remember having these conversations with clients who have a fear of really going for what they really want with their hair, and they really want with their look, and they really want with their color. They fear it because they think it's going to turn them into somebody else. No, it's going to reveal who they're supposed to be. They're going to reveal that playful, fun side, or that glamorous, gorgeous side, or that jumpy, that really lovely, lush side. That's the side that wants to come out and be shown. Michelangelo talked about releasing the statue from the marble and being the creative force that allowed that to happen. So when we go back to these druids holding the space, whoop, there we go. Is that in there? Yeah. This is a wise man coming out from the depths of your soul to remind you it's going to be great. You're going to be great. Keep focus on what you want to have happen. And be it the highest good of all. You know, sometimes when we don't get what we want right when we want it, because we're in this culture of instant gratification, in some parts of me enjoys the fact that, you know, a year or so ago, we were all living in this order it at 9 o'clock, it's on your doorstep at 11, click your fingers and it's here. I mean, that was a bit like abracadabra land. Really, truly, we got used to whoosh. Okay, here we go. I can have it by 5 o'clock. And then this kind of energy of expectation happened. When it didn't happen, when we didn't get what we wanted, the whining started, the complaining started, the finger pointing started. The anger, resentment, the whatever that is. It was a froth of nastiness that is kind of like bubbling up around the surface now. So the point with that is we're still having on the outside in our culture, if we say day-to-day life, you notice that all these, what they call those things, those subscription services that were so hot to trot 2 years ago. You join this thing every month and they send you something every month. Those commercials have sort of died down. If you dig deeper, some of those services have bye-bye. can't keep up with the demand. Not saying that that service wasn't fantastic, but when you tell people that you can make promises that you can't keep, that's a problem. The point of today's focus is to come down to the essence of really what you would love to have happen, rather than be stuck in this soup of silliness where you feel it's not happening, I don't have it, blah, 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 that stuff, the bumbling. I find myself making decisions, big rash decisions, like this message talked about, when something occurs that I feel like isn't right. And I've lately found myself lining, I said I want to dedicate this entire year to love. Well, I'm going to dedicate the rest of my life to it because it's working. But every so often, I'm reminded that there's this part of myself, the ego part, that just is ratchet. It's got its own little personality. It pops out when I'm not doing the work to stay focused. I'm not doing the work to stay true. I'm not doing the work to stay on point. Not doing the work to bring all that together and just move forward with grace, with gratitude, with love, with harmony, with all of those hippy-dippy feelings that I love being part of. And when I find myself in that soup of silliness, is when the behaviors, if you want to call it shadow self, the part that hides in the darkness, comes forward. So if you're still tracking this and you have a sense of it, that piece of you pops out every so often, usually when we're quiet, when we're not around other people. And sometimes it has a question of being reactive, like a situation where you're hearing a conversation that you're not a part of. None of your business. And you just can't help yourself but turn around and insert whatever you've got to say in that group's opinion. Now, there's a tiny little chance that somebody's having a conversation in earshot of you, because it's happened to me. They're looking towards you to see if you will add something to it. That's golden. Those opportunities when you're aware that other people are speaking close enough and loud enough to get you pulled in, is when you are like, oh, they're looking for me to make a reaction and say something. Now you can choose. Don't do whatever that is for you. I am typical of pushing the spotlight right there. Are you what are you looking towards me for? Do you want my opinion on what you're saying? Now I've learned about that naughtiness, get up and kind of move away and put myself somewhere else. And then there are times when I know those around me, that's happened recently, really recently, are being loud and rambunctious and paying no mind to other people, and not really being considerate of other people's space. Hence, you've got noisy neighbors. It's as we lighten up, brighten up, lift our energies and raise our vibrations, those sensitivities become heightened, because the world of spirit is grace, gratitude, love, peace, all of those fantastic things we do when we meditate. But we still have to live in the real world, and the real world presents itself with loudness, with, oh goodness gracious, the interruption of peace. That's exactly where meditation can be your greatest ally. I think that's a good time to stop. There's a Druid that lives in every one of us. A wise man, a wise woman, a wise person that knows the truth inside. Hold steady and hold fast to that part of yourself, as opposed to trying to run and crawl and force and make things happen. And for that, I'm grateful for those people in my life who this week have held my space and been so incredibly beneficial for decisions I could have made and didn't. Paying attention to the understory, not the big story. All right. Clear the Path to Your Heart is today's focus from Melody Beatty's Journey to the Heart. She's a woman that wrote this book on a 365-day journey to the heart, where she journaled her experiences of each day as she traveled around, typically in the areas of Arizona, Colorado, those kind of places. So when I'm reading these things every day, you hear references of where she's gone and what she's done and what she discovered. It's a fascinating book. So clear the path to the heart. I watched Old Faithful from my window. The geyser gurgled and spewed a low layer of steam. Then, true to its name, Old Fashioned erupted and sprayed thousands of gallons of steaming water onto the air. Right on time. A full range of gurgling emotions, reactions, and responses to life lined the pathway to the heart. We need to feel them all. Anger, hurt, sadness, irritation, in order to feel joy. To experience life and its wonders, we must embrace all these feelings. We need to experience a little anger, as well as the big hurts and painful wounds that life sometimes brings. To insist that we will only feel pleasant emotions means we're blocking the pathway to the heart. We're ignoring all the other gurgling emotions that need to be felt. Our emotions are important. All need to be recognized. The energy of each needs to be acknowledged and released. This clears the way for love. All the emotions that precede love clear the heart, so it's pure and free to feel joy. Trust your emotions, all of them. They're not off the path. They lead to the path you're seeking. They are the journey to the heart. Let them flow freely, and sure as Old Faithful, your heart will come gleaming, shining through. Oh, that is so cool. All right, my friends, it is time for us to meditate. Bring your feet flat to the floor. Lift your palms up to the roof. Close your eyes down. And take a big breath in to clear your internal space. Release and let go of anything and everything that stands in your way of being present to the environment and the situation that you find yourself. And just bring your consciousness to the soles of your feet. Lift your toes, spread them out, push them back down. Get in touch with your seat and anything that is connecting you to the floor, the walls, and your environment. In other words, the Mother Earth is holding you up with her grace and her kindness and her love and her forgiveness, pulling from you all the thoughts and feelings, anxieties, troubles, pulling them down from your heart space into your belly space, neutralizing those gurgling feelings of uneasiness, moving them down through your colon into your genitals, down your legs, into your knee joints, ankles, toes, and then imagine on the soles of your feet you have beautiful copper roots. These copper roots are deep into the earth, and the copper roots generate an energy that allows these negative thoughts, feelings, uneasiness, doubts to travel down into the earth and be wrapped around the crystalline layer of the core of the earth's surface, of the core of the earth itself. Into the Gaia gateway, all of your thoughts and feelings and troubles have gone, only to be transmuted and transformed into the energy of love, of light, of peace, of harmony, of clarity, of joy, of gratitude and grace. And just as the geyser of Old Faithful Those feelings of love and joy and peace and clarity and wisdom rise up. Generate your most powerful form of breath. Big, long, deep scoops of inhales. Long and wonderful, expressive exhale. Sigh it out. Use your breath to draw up and to pull down energy from spirit. Thank you, angels, for reminding me of your presence and for revealing to me what I need to know. I'm grateful for your love. I'm grateful for your joy. I'm grateful for your clarity. I am willing to listen. I'm willing to receive. And I'm also willing to share your wisdom with the world. And put a smile on your face and generate a wonderful feeling of gratitude. What you are most grateful for does not need to be extravagant, doesn't even need to be materialistic, but go with the truth of what you are grateful for having. Bring a dedication to yourself. You can bring your right hand to your heart, your left hand to your belly. I'm the keeper of my mind and my body. Wherever love is present, fear is a stranger and love is right here. So it is, so shall it be. Allow your thoughts to settle down. Know that meditation is the space that is created when you allow the thoughts to flow like a river under a bridge without paying attention to every drop of water. Bring your mind and yourself to the idea that you are the bridge. The depth of your feet and what's below is connected to the love of the earth. The crown of your head and what's above is receiving energy from source energy, Father Sky. And Father Sky opens up the stellar gateway to bring you a recharge, a reset, energetic downloads from source energy. Invite in the wisdom from your angel guide, your archangels, spirit guides, Christed-like beings to gather around. Welcome in their energy. Breath and meditation creates the space from your conscious mind through the veil of the wall of spirit. Everything you see and perceive with physical vision can be seen and perceived with clairvoyant vision. Everything you hear, the sounds, with your physical ears. These sounds are also present with clairaudient skills. The emotions you feel from the energy around you on this physical plane are also the emotions you feel from the sensitivity of being connected with other people on an empathetic level. Continue with your breath. Continue allowing the download of source energy to raise your vibration. Thank you, source energy, for creating a personal experience and connection. Thank you for removing the limited thoughts and beliefs that have been placed in my mind and heart by others. Thank you for revealing and showing me my worth. I am ready to claim my worth. Allow yourself to be open to hearing, receiving, acknowledging, and believing all the information that's coming right now. Acknowledge that you are supposed to hear this, witness this, practice this, and be part of this. This is an extension of what you have asked to receive. Your own guides, angels, spirits, ancestors from another plane have gathered. Their curiosity of you and how this works is a reflection of your curiosity of them and how you connect. Continue breathing, listening to, and receiving these ancient words of wisdom, the love and the guidance of Spirit. more love and gratitude we have and express, the stronger, lighter, brighter, and clearer the connection with spirit becomes. The greater love and grace, the greater joy and happiness, the greater lightness and truth that's generated, the stronger the vibration between you, source energy, and spirit. Continue on for the next few moments, breathing, receiving, releasing, and being. I invite you now to press pause on this video. Continue meditating. The minute you feel complete, place your hands at heart center as acknowledgement of the work you've just done and a return to the present space. The angels, the guides, and Christed light beings are still with you, around you, surrounding you. Lift your thumbs to your third eye center and acknowledge all of them, plus everyone else on the planet, as we bow and say namaste. There you have it, my friends. Meditation is very simple. And lifting your vibration is simple. And if you're wondering, well, how do I raise my vibration? Particularly if you have been, as I have, in that feeling of shadow self, of stuck in the muck and the mire of silliness. Take a long walk, that's one way. Get with nature, that's another way. Feed and watch birds or animals, or get yourself connected to wildlife. And when I say get yourself with and connected to, I mean, you don't have to go to a zoo. You can simply go to the park. Sometimes the early morning part of a park bench. It's a fascinating way to watch birds, rabbits, squirrels, if that's your thing. Or if you're near a mountain, go find a waterfall, a natural waterfall. Not saying you have to take the time to go out and do it, but these are things we raise the vibration. If you have a fountain in your house, turn it on. Listen to the trickling of the water. If there's a book that has poetry, anything written by Louise Hay, wonderful for raising the vibration. So why do we need to raise the vibration? Really quickly, it's easy to explain. Imagine that you're in a concert hall and you are playing an instrument without any amplification. Perhaps the people on the very front row can hear you, barely. The sound and the noise is being absorbed by the air around it. In order for the sound to be heard and for the attention of a wider group needs amplification. Angels, Christ-like beings, spirit guides, our own guides, operate at a vibrational level. Their vibrational level is different to ours because they are of the light, the joy, the love, the peace, the harmony, all of those things that each day we ask ourselves to get into that state of gratitude. That is lifting up to it. And to practice doing it more and more and more, particularly at times and on days where the energy feels really tough. That is purposefully where you recognize, oh, this is not quite right. And then call in whatever you believe your archangel that you resonate with at that point. Mine, I like the Thronins. For me personally, Metatron, Orion, if you want to call it that, Sandalphon. They're wonderful archangels to transform, transmute, and transcend that energy of, oh gosh, this is so heavy, into something lighter, into something more pleasing. You might find Archangel Raphael if you want to be healed, if you feel like you have been wounded. Archangel Gabriel or Gabriel, if you want to be nurtured and loved and you want to feel, gosh, I need some basically spiritual apple pie. These are the archangels, the basically managers of these different areas of life. And then there's other ones, Zadkiel. You have access to, we all have, not just you and me, but we have access to this incredible level of ancient wisdom, of ancestors that have come before us, of our past spirits, our past loved ones, grandparents, great-grandparents, parents, and even those who were surrogates in this life that played those kind of nurturing, loving, kind roles, all on the other side. Many willing to listen, to receive, to bring you joy. Raising your vibration is believing and trusting that that's so. The limiting beliefs in the stories are placed in our hearts and our minds by other people. They're not necessarily our own experience. The delicate challenge there is we aren't supposed to make other people wrong or push the blame game. Remember, if other people had limiting thoughts, put that in your mind and your body. If that's their limiting place, that's what they learned. So they're not to be faulted, because you can't turn around and then say, well, excuse me, but you just made me feel this way. They don't make us feel anyway. Their experience is their experience from someplace else, just like yours is. Listen, on that note, I'm going to wish you a great Sunday, and I'll see you soon. Lots of love and light. Bye.